Hello, Seiiti Arata. You could achieve practically any goal in your life if you were consistent. Consistency happens when you do what needs to be done constantly without any variations over time. You could have your desired physical shape if you were constant with your diet. You could have a better economic situation if you consistently saved and invested money. You could have any ability if you were constant with reading books every day. The thing is that we don't have this never-ending consistency. When we try to change something in our lives, we try to create a habit for one day, maybe a week, and then something happens. We skip a day, and then another one, and without realizing it, it's been months since we last followed our diet, we saved money, or we studied. The solution is not forcing ourselves to be like a superhuman who fulfills good habits every single day. On the contrary, the secret to great consistency is being flexible and transforming your strict habits into elastic habits. People fail because they create habits that are too strict. When a habit is too strict, they usually abandon the plan at a certain point. You have probably made New Year's resolutions. You promised you were going to do exercise 5 times a week, or you were going to read 1 hour every day, you were going to have fun with friends and family every weekend. Now, there is a chance you had a good start at the beginning of the year, but by February, you have probably broken a good part of your promises. One of the reasons for this failure is that you had goals that were too strict. You traced inflexible habits that weren't open to adaptation for those days when you didn't want to go exercise or read or to go out. Almost everyone makes this mistake. And when we're planning, we think we are infallible machines. We say we're going to stay on the diet or do exercise or study and have fun every day. But not every day is the same. For example, imagine you promised yourself you're going to study a new language for 1 hour after lunch every single day. But then you had a difficult day at work and you definitely don't want to spend 1 hour studying, so you don't study at all. Or maybe you promised yourself you were going to follow a diet based on super healthy food, but then you had to eat a sandwich at lunch, so since you already ate the kind of wrong food, you use that excuse to order pizza for dinner. After all, the promise has already been broken that day. This is the problem with establishing habits that are too strict. When you follow this type of all or nothing habit, those nothing days break your consistency, and that prevents you from achieving the results that you wanted. The best way to get out of this prison is replacing the strict habits for elastic habits. And to increase the chances of consolidating a habit, you have to be more flexible. The idea of elastic habits was brought by Stephen Guys as a solution to those who want to finally find the consistency that they need in their actions. The first step is to give yourself more options. So instead of telling yourself you're going to the gym 5 times a week, your habit could be, for having a healthier life, maybe going to the gym or skipping rope at home or going for a walk. The second step is having 3 levels for each habit: easy, medium, and hard. In easy mode, you will follow the habit for a short period of time. It has to be something so easy that it's impossible not to do it. Examples of easy mode habits would be reading 1 single page of a book, doing 1 single push-up, writing 1 single paragraph for your college paper. You will follow your easy mode habits when you're having a rough day and you don't feel like fulfilling the entire habit. The purpose of acting in the easy mode is simply depend on inertia, create consistency. But you will see that once you've taken the first step, it is very likely you will be able to take a few more steps. Beginning to act is the hardest step most of the times. So even if you start at the easy level, you could end up perhaps reading an entire chapter or doing 10 push-ups or writing several pages of your paper. Medium level would be to do your habit in its regular, standard way. And when you leave the hard level for those days, when you're extremely motivated, you want to test your own limits. If you make any version of your elastic habit in any of these 3 levels, you have kept your consistency and you have taken another step towards being the person you want to be. Perfectionism is the reason for not implementing long-lasting habits. To fight perfectionism, you have to be flexible, you have to be creative. And one of the collateral effects of promising things to yourself and not keeping those promises is that you feel like a failure. You blame yourself for not following your diet, for not exercising, for not studying, and this happens because of perfectionism and the stiffness of habits. This could make you enter a vicious cycle. You feel bad because you're not doing anything to be the person you want to be, and then you don't take action because you're feeling down. This cycle starts when you're too strict with yourself. You've been fighting and trying to follow rigid and difficult habits for so long that it makes you think that, I don't know, something is wrong with you. But there isn't. You just need more creativity and flexibility. And if you want to, you can mark in your calendar whenever you fulfill the habit in an easy, medium, or hard way, and soon enough you'll see that thanks to the elastic habits, you're much more able to keep consistency in an easy way. And it doesn't matter if you were able only to fulfill a habit in an easy level one day. Instead of feeling bad about it, celebrate it. You were able to carry out your habit even on a rough day. Every single progress, no matter how small, must be seen as a success. This is the type of freedom you always wanted to have. This freedom can be adapted to real life perfectly. None of us is a productivity machine able to follow absolutely every habit every single day. Softening your actions according to how you're feeling that day is a smart strategy so you can always keep moving towards your biggest goals. It doesn't matter which version or what difficulty level of the habit that you've chosen. All that matters is the consistency you're going to maintain over time. As I've said in the beginning of our talk, you will be able to achieve practically any objective you have in your life plan thanks to consistency. I'd like to read to you part of a special message that I received here made me very happy. I would like to briefly share my experience with Arata Academy's content and how it has changed my life. Well, I'll start by saying that in the course of 4 years, I developed a psychoactive substance addiction that brought me incalculable damage. Ever since I started watching the free lessons you sent me, I have successfully adapted those concepts to my addictive behavior in my personal life. So I have not used any substance at all for at least 5 months. I want to clearly express my gratitude and say thank you to the whole team. Now, you may not be able to comprehend the magnitude of what I'm telling you, but just so that you understand, where the public authorities arrive with reprimands here on the periphery, because for the public authorities will be nothing more than an addict destined for failure, the Arata Academy lessons gave me another destination. You made me feel valuable. So here's my gratitude. Please kindly accept the testimony of an addict that has not used any substance for 5 months, thanks to the lessons you create. This gratitude goes beyond the lessons you distribute for free and the life I was given the moment I discovered the content of the lessons. What the justice system hasn't been able to do for me, Arata Academy has, thanks to the lessons that made me question my choices and to the techniques that I have implemented to my reality that have worked out during these 5 months without any drugs. And it is amazing. Thank you. My friend, if you're watching this, please know that I admire you and I congratulate you for the results you're gathering. And the results are yours. Because you are the one who's making better choices and putting them into practice. The whole team and I felt very grateful and amazed when we received your testimony. So congratulations. In order to achieve your biggest dreams, it is much better to have consistent habits, even if they're not perfect, than to have perfect habits that you're never able to do correctly. This is why you should implement the idea of elastic habits so you can have more flexibility when you're achieving your goals. The idea is that your habits and your goals are part of a bigger plan, a life plan that has all the details about what you want to become. And if you want to learn how to create this type of a plan, I invite you to watch a special lesson about personal values from the Planning Your Life course. You can watch the class here in arata.se/planning your life.